Hey, successful dropouts, if you want to be your own boss and earn money working from anywhere on your own time, then you should consider becoming a digital marketer. One of our very own successful dropouts named Seth Himes has a fantastic training program called In-Demand Career that will teach you essential digital marketing skills and how to land jobs as a digital marketer. After going through the training, his students start making $60,000 per year or more within months without needing a college degree. To find out more and take one of his free courses to see if it's something you want to do, go to successfuldropout.com/in-demand career. INDEMANDCAREER. You can also listen to Seth Himes on this podcast, actually. He's episode 64, and then he has some more recent appearances as well. This guy is the real deal. He's humble. He's smart. He knows how to provide a lot of value. He's my friend, and he's been part of our community for a long time. And even if digital marketing is not something you want to do long term, it can be a great stepping stone to that next thing. This is a skill that will always be in demand, which means you can always rely on it to make you money in a flexible way that gives you freedom to pursue other projects. I also am very pleased to announce that the Successful Dropout Bible is live, finally. The SD Bible is a free living document that answers some of the most common dropout questions, offers tools and resources for successful dropouts, and also have some personal notes, writings, and wisdom from yours truly. When I say it's a living document, I mean there are versions, and it's something that I'm going to be constantly adding to and revising as I discover new value to share with you all. But I'm super pleased that it's out now, so to go and get your copy, please head over to successfuldropout.com/Bible. Again, that is successfuldropout.com/Bible. What is up, successful dropouts? This is yours truly coming to you from quarantine. I hope everybody listening is safe and well. I hope your friends and family are safe and well during these unprecedented times. It's truly a crazy time. You know, I was taking a walk with Tay, my wife, the other day, and realizing that for the next 6 months, I don't really have anything on the schedule. I have no hard commitments besides getting up, going through my regular daily routine and working from home, which I'm very fortunate to be able to work from home. But, you know, Tay and I, our family, we travel quite a bit. We like to stay active. I get to travel with my company and meet, you know, a bunch of cool people. And all of that's just been canceled through basically the next 6 months, the next 2 seasons. And for the first time, it hit me the other day how little structure I have in my schedule. And Tay and I, we used to always look at each other and be like, can you imagine what it would be like to not have something be happening every single weekend? And we just laugh because it's ridiculous. We're just so busy all the time. But now we have that opportunity. It's seriously probably a once in a decade time where you're literally being told not to participate in the economy or in most people's just daily lives. Traveling and going to events and seeing friends and people and, you know, colleagues and going into work. You're being called to stay at home. I read somewhere that basically half the world's population, around 4 billion people, are essentially being asked to stay home. They're on lockdown. Don't participate in the economy, which is just, it's nuts, man. It's hard to fathom the kind of impact, both negative and positive, that this will have on the world. And I have a lot of thoughts about that. That's not the subject of this episode. I guess that's just where my mind was at when I hit record here. So what I'm doing personally about that is during a time like this, it's really tempting to basically spend a lot of time playing video games. For instance, playing Far Cry 5 specifically right now. And and I'm just about done with that, and I'm going to play No Man's Sky next. My rule is for the Xbox, I only have one game at a time at any one time, and I stick with that game until it's done. And for some reason, it just helps. I don't binge play. I'll play 30 minutes or an hour, probably on average a day, just to kind of unwind at the end of the day. Netflix is another one, man. It's tempting to just take a deep dive into Netflix and waste a lot of time there. But what I've decided is to be very proactive during this time when I know a lot of people are tempted to be reactive or just be couch potatoes. Basically, I had personal yearly goals, just like I always do. But now that I'm not anticipating a lot in my schedule moving forward. Literally every weekend is free, extending out. It's just such a crazy thing because that is usually never the case. Tay and I are going back and reevaluating our yearly goals and working our way backwards and basically being more aggressive with them now that we have this extra time. Also focusing more on personal development. So working out more, spending more time making healthier meals. I'm spending more time journaling and reading and learning and taking courses, listening to podcasts that I've been wanting to listen to and learn, but have been neglecting just because things are so busy. So I'd encourage you guys to do the same. And on the Successful Dropout Facebook group and on the website in the coming weeks and months, I'll be posting some of the things that I'm doing and some of the systematic frameworks I'm using to focus on personal development and kind of accomplishing my goals during this time when you have a lot of downtime. And I'd love to share that with you guys. So yeah, let's play some Would You Rather. I was looking for more creative ways to launch off these episodes, and I figured that would be a good way to do it. So I had a website loaded up here. Let's get it going again. This would make a fun segment for Tay and I or another guest to do. I should do that sometime. Feel free to answer these along with me. Would you rather the aliens that make first contact be robotic or organic? I'm going to say robotic because then I feel like we would have a better chance of analyzing how they work and reverse engineering them to either make our own and advance ourselves somehow. I don't know. I just feel like robotic would be less of a threat. Of course, organic could be less of a threat too. I mean, maybe they're these puny little aliens that are like half our size and really easy to... I don't know why I'm assuming too that the aliens that would come would be hostile, but I'm just assuming that. And if they are, I'd rather them be robotic. Yep, that was my answer. Would you rather lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak? Oh, man. That's easy. I'd rather lose the ability to read because I could listen to books. That's all. Okay, that's a dumb one. Oh, but then, that would be tough because even like driving, I'm thinking about learning. Driving would be, well, you've got voice activated GPS. You could get, I would rather still, I want to be able to speak. Would you rather have a golden voice or a silver tongue? Pfft, I already have a golden voice. That's an easy one. Would you rather be covered in fur or covered in scales? Built-in blanket or +2 armor? Which would you choose? Oh, they have little footnotes underneath here. The built-in blanket, I think, would be nice. I live up in the mountains. There's still snow outside the window. I'm looking at it right now. So that seems most practical. Scales would just be weird, man. And I don't need +2 armor or whatever. Would you rather be in jail for a year or lose a year of your life? Honestly, I'd rather be in jail. We're basically in jail now, man. Quarantine. It's exactly what I was talking about. If I went to jail for a year, I would just have the most robust, aggressive self-development plan, I would come out of that place absolutely jacked and with like a Harvard degree or something like that. Yeah, I'd definitely go to jail for a year. Would you rather always be 10 minutes late or always be 20 minutes early? 20 minutes early. Honestly, both would be really annoying. Can you imagine if you had a friend? You probably have a friend who's always 10 minutes late. Okay, that's annoying. Imagine if you had a friend that was always 20 minutes early. You would always feel guilty and like you had to show up at least 15 minutes early or 10 minutes early so they weren't waiting so long. That would be so annoying. Both would be annoying. I think I'd rather always be 20 minutes early though. Would you rather have one real get out of jail free card or a key that opens any door? This is stupid. I don't plan to actually go to jail. Of course, if I did the other one and I got the get out of jail free card in this one too, I could combine those. No, I'd rather have a key that opens any door. I don't feel like that's not a good one. I'm reading these for the first time, by the way. Don't judge me. Would you rather know the history of every object you touched or be able to talk to animals? Basically be the best veterinarian / zoologist on the planet or the most incredible archaeologist ever. I'd rather be the most incredible archaeologist ever. I'd rather know the history of every object you touched. Oh, God. I just thought about hotel beds. Oh, okay. That makes it a tough one, man. I might have to go with the animals. But being able to talk to animals, being able to communicate with an animal, I feel like would be annoying because they would also be able to communicate with you constantly. And my dog is always barking at me, and I feel like she would just be yelling, like, let's go for a run, or let's go on a walk, or let's go to the lake, or I'm hungry, just constantly. I'll let you guys answer that. I'll take a pass. You guys answer it, think about that one, and we'll move on. Okay, how to conquer limiting beliefs. So first, I know pretty much everybody knows this, but what are limiting beliefs? It's basically what it sounds like. They are beliefs that you have about yourself that keep you from reaching your full potential. And everybody struggles with this more than others. Myself, I feel like I'm a roller coaster sometimes. Sometimes I have really strong belief in myself. I can do anything. I can accomplish anything I set my mind to. And that'll last for weeks, months. And then other times I have one or two really limiting, soul-crushing beliefs, like feeling imposter syndrome, like thinking I'm not good enough for some reason, I don't have what it takes for some reason, I'm not worthy, or I don't stack up to the people around me that I admire. People are going to discover that I'm an imposter and that I really shouldn't be doing the things I'm doing. I struggle with that sometimes. My wife, on the other hand, she seems to never struggle with that and be pretty much superhuman, but that's besides the point. Most everybody at some point or another struggles with limiting beliefs. And I want to talk to you guys about a systematic framework that you can use to annihilate those limiting beliefs and turn them around and believe the opposite about yourself. And let me tell you, if you want to be successful, having strong self-belief, almost a blind faith in yourself, is absolutely essential. Sam Altman, who was the president of Y Combinator, he talks about this. Go and Google Sam Altman, How to Be Successful. It's just a blog post he wrote on how to be successful. It's like 11 or 12 things that he's noticed dealing with thousands of successful founders of companies and just people in general that have made a lot of money and done a lot of great things for the world. And he lists them out. And I believe number 2 is where he talks about one of the common traits these people have is that they have almost too much self-belief. So it's very important that you have that strong self-belief. Something else, though, that I'll just mention here is that you need to develop that self-belief with self-awareness. Otherwise, you'll become basically a narcissist that nobody wants to be around. So Along with strong self-belief needs to come self-awareness. A great way to be self-aware is to always seek out criticism from others and listen to that criticism with the assumption that it's true. And then you can decide to act on it or not, but always be seeking that criticism, always be seeking that feedback loop from other people. But let's start with how to actually annihilate limiting beliefs, because if you succumb to those, man, you're done for. So to do this, it might be helpful. I will give you an example of a limiting belief that I have struggled with in the past, and I might struggle with it again. I'm just going to be very open and authentic and transparent with you guys about this, but also be thinking about a limiting belief you have. Maybe go and take a second to write it down. Be very honest with yourself. This can be a pretty powerful exercise, just writing down the types of limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. So my limiting belief, or one of them that I struggled with in the past, is I'm not smart enough. That my brain doesn't work fast enough. And we're building a company that has a business model and a value exchange that is fairly unique. There's not a lot out there like it. And this requires you to be a pretty smart and competent person in order to be a part of the team that's building this. And I will definitely sometimes struggle with, am I smart enough to be doing this? Am I as smart? Does my brain work as quick as the other people I work with? And I'm simultaneously grateful for this, because I don't think you ever want to be the smartest person in the room, right? You want to surround yourself with people that are going to push you, that inspire you, that you're going to grow from. And I've definitely done that, but sometimes it can turn into this limiting belief that doesn't help me progress at all. So this is the one I'm going to use. Now let's take this limiting belief that I'm not smart enough through this systematic framework to annihilate it. And you do the same with yours. This system is 5 steps. The first step is called break the pattern. And what you want to do is ask, is this belief actually true? And this would be a good time to be journaling on this stuff too. You should probably journal out these questions and answers. But number 1 is break the pattern. Is this actually true? Ask yourself, could this limiting belief be a misinterpretation or a misperception? Ask yourself, do you have all the possible information necessary to know exactly what this means and if it's true or not? So I'll just sit down and think, okay, I have this limiting belief. I'm not smart enough. Is this actually true? Do I have all the data? Have I taken tests? Have I compared those tests to the people I work with, to other people I admire? Where do I stack up on the smartness scale? What are we defining as smart? Are we talking emotionally smart, like EQ, or intellectually smart, like IQ? Okay, what are all the variables about that? Do I have all the data to accurately make this determination about myself? And you'll find the answer is almost always no. And the answer is no in my case. This could very possibly be a misinterpretation, a misperception of myself. I don't have all the data in. So that's number 1. Number 2 is get leverage and ask yourself, how do you feel? What do you experience? And what do you become like when you believe this limiting belief? And is that what you want to feel? So the answer to that, for me, is simply no. How do I feel when I think I'm not smart enough? I feel dumb. What do I experience? I get depressed. I slow down. I am demotivated. And when I ask myself the question, is that what I want to feel? No, that's not what I want to feel at all. So that is step 2, get leverage. Ask yourself, how does this make you feel believing this limiting belief? Step 3 is annihilate the limiting belief and ask yourself these questions. If this thought didn't exist, how would you feel? How would you behave? How would you experience life? And so now again, what you can see we're doing is just you're putting yourself in different mindsets. You're viewing this limiting belief through different lenses and kind of zooming out and looking back in on yourself. And it's giving you a different perspective. So when I think, okay, let's just imagine for a second this limiting belief of I'm not smart enough didn't exist, how would I feel? I'd feel great. I'd feel smart. I'd feel like I could tackle anything, learn anything I needed to in order to accomplish the thing I needed to accomplish. So that's step 3. Step 4 is saying that the opposite is true. So I am smart. And I'll take it a step further and don't just say it, but say it with conviction and journal about it. And if you need to, add it to daily mantras or affirmations that you say on a regular basis. I am smart. Whatever the opposite of that limiting belief is. And then number 5, and the final step, is come up with 3 examples that support that the opposite is true. So in my case, I would need to come up with 3 concrete examples about why I am smart and I have what it takes up there in my noggin to make stuff happen. So for me, number 1 is that I knew very little about the business I'm in just this time last year. And just so you know, the business I'm in it's the business of buying businesses. We acquire and grow existing companies. And I did not know a lot about that at all this time last year, but now I teach other people, and I teach really smart, high net worth people about acquisitions. And I also took point on and closed a deal myself in the last 12 months. So I'm going to use that as exhibit A, that I am a smart person. And you'll find, like I'm finding now, and like I found when I did this, a few months ago, that when you start digging into your limiting beliefs, they're almost laughable. You'll find that you have some really, really stupid limiting beliefs, and you can't believe how much potential they've been sucking away from you. So number 2, or exhibit B, would be someone recently asked me to be on their board of directors for a company they started. And I'm really humbled that someone like him came and asked me for advice. Now, I ended up saying no because, again, that is a very important habit of successful people too, is learn how and when to respectfully say no to people so you can focus on the things that really matter. I love this guy. I love what he's doing, but it wasn't good timing for me. And actually, in the last 12 months, I've had somebody else as well ask me to advise them on their startup. And again, both of these people are really smart. It's really humbling to know people want that, and that to me is proof that I'm a smart person. Exhibit C would, I think, just be, I would call it an aggregation of dozens and dozens of examples that I could look back on and see where I've built successful projects and businesses from scratch. If I just take a moment and sit down and look over the last decade of my life, I could start listing off a lot of successful things that I have done, and I'm just going to aggregate those all into one exhibit C. And that's it. We'll call that one a wrap. And now, just going through this system of conquering this limiting belief a second time, it just feels gone. I no longer think that anymore, but I'm glad that I could use that as an example to kind of walk you guys through this process. So one more time, let me just break down the process again. You take that limiting belief, and step 1 is you break the pattern and ask yourself, is this true? Do I have all the evidence in? Could this be a misperception? Number 2 is you get leverage. Ask yourself, how do you feel when you think this limiting belief? What do you experience? Likely, you don't enjoy the experience. Number 3 is annihilate the limiting belief. Ask yourself, if the opposite were true, how would you feel? How would you act? How would you behave? And the reality is, it would feel great. Number 4 is say the opposite is true. Write it down somewhere where you'll see it often. Put it on a mirror. Put it in a place where you'll be able to say it with conviction to yourself every day. And number 5 is come up with 3 examples to show that the opposite is true. And I would just write these 3 examples right underneath where you wrote the opposite of your limiting belief, whether that's, again, in your journal somewhere or on a mirror somewhere. So that's it, guys. I hope this was helpful. If you want to chat more about this, definitely join the Successful Dropout Facebook group. That's where I hang out. That's where our whole community hangs out. And I would love to talk to you, get to know you more. Until then, stay hungry, stay foolish.